Hey, what's up, everyone? Another day of training. Well, you can see I'm a little tired. My last video was pretty deep and emotional, so I'm gonna keep it a little lighter here. And talk about, actually, it's quite a complex topic, and it varies for everyone. And I'm not gonna go all mad bro science on you guys. And there's a million videos on YouTube about this topic, but I'm gonna just talk about what's worked best for me and break down what's been the best diets and food choices in my 20 years as an athlete. So let's start off in my teens. Very busy schedule, hockey every day, weight room every day, kind of that high school schedule, right? Gym class, a lot of walking, hockey practice every day. Let's face it, could pretty much eat whatever I wanted. But looking back, unbelievably intense crashes, early afternoons, would have to carb up with Gatorades and processed carbs to get on the ice right after school. And that's what I thought was normal, and kind of that like weird food pyramid, that ass backwards food pyramid, I call it now. As I've got into my 30s and flipped that baby upside down, but we'll get into that later. So, like I said, if you're a teenage athlete right now and getting away with the fast food, the processed carbs, just a ridiculous amount of calories, take it from me, it's gonna catch up to you. And looking back on my life, they'd say, when you're a teenager, everyone has bad skin, and you go through that phase through puberty and after puberty where, you're dealing with acne and, it's just time in your life, right? Well, I think it was the food more than anything, because since I have been 1,000 times more conscious of my fuel, and also that I was lucky enough to go to Thailand and realize that we were eating so much processed foods here compared to other parts of the world. That was the reason my skin was bad. You mix in alcohol, all the refined sugars and alcohol and soft drinks, you're going to have bad skin. But this can be changed through your diet, 1,000,000%. Yeah, as I got into my junior years, I had to kind of find out what worked best for me. I was eating a ton of calories because you're so busy. You're having a 3-hour practice in the morning with a workout, at the rink all day, maybe even another you know, on a game day, you're at the rink twice, pre-game skate and the game. And that's when I found, that's when I actually really found Vietnamese food. And I found these like Vietnamese vermicelli bowls to kind of be like the perfect balance of carbohydrate and good grilled, not greasy, fatty meats. Nice grilled beef and chicken and seafood, and it just mixed with vegetables and greens and sprouts, and it just worked for me. And I pretty much had a fascination with Vietnam ever since, and the cuisine. I'm not the biggest fan of pho or pho, just because I think there's just way too many carbs and not enough protein compared to those noodle bowls. But I still think it's absolutely delicious, and the collagen from the bone broth is really good for you, for your joints and skin and hair, eyes, nails. So a big thing, if I look back at the junior hockey and the coaches who were organizing these meals for us, they were definitely the old school 70s, 80s Soviet era diet, right? Like just big plate of pasta and go out and play. But the best year of my junior career, it was steak and a starch, but not a pasta, a potato. And I found out later on that, I mean, geez, this is Michael Jordan's pregame meal. So, I mean, we all know how dominant that guy was, and he's on to something. He didn't make too many mistakes in his career. And so to this day, any sort of pre-performance calories, it's a high fat cut of meat and a fast burning starch. And that is the absolute best pre-performance meal, in my opinion. To each their own. I know in your teens you can get away with the pasta and the carbs and burning everything off. But I just feel cognitively it slows you down. And in my other video I talked about that gut-brain connection, and I actually, after performance, I crave the refuel and refill of glycogen and pasta like way more. And that's kind of the only time I recommend eating it. You really don't want that big ball of glue digesting in your belly when you're trying to be locked in some sort of sporting competition. And I know it changes for everyone, and I know everyone's tastes are different, so this is kind of a tough subject. I'm just saying it's definitely what worked best for me. But then again, look at me here. I am a steak and potatoes looking guy. And it seems to work. But also, after experiencing Asia, I really experimented with pretty much every fad kind of diet there was. But there was the first time I really experienced really fresh and organic fruits and vegetables. I had ate fruit and vegetables growing up, thinking that they were just good and not knowing any, or doing any sort of research about, where they came from, how organic they were, what companies they were from. You start to learn about Monsanto and all this creepy stuff with the industrial farming, and how we pretty much eat fake fruits and vegetables here in North America, and we don't even know it. Thailand was a huge eye-opener for that, because it was unbelievably delicious and would last forever, and it was just, you could taste the organic difference immediately the very first day I got there. I had a salad called a papaya salad, and I never felt so good and had such a burst of clean insulin energy in my life. And it's just something to keep in mind, that consuming a ton of just store-bought fruits and vegetables here, this is just my opinion, it's really not good for you. I think they're fake. They're sprayed with a bunch of weird chemicals for them to just sit there all day, every day. And just be mindful. But then again, someone who has a soft tooth enamel, when I was in Thailand and eating a lot of fruit for energy and like pre-Muay Thai class, because those classes were so long and just took so much endurance that you didn't want to have a big meal in you. So you're kind of always nibbling on papaya and pineapple and stuff like that, and just getting those sugars and those carbohydrates in you, which was awesome because you're burning them off there and you're in the heat. But I also battled some, even though I was taking pretty good care of my teeth, I thought, I would come back and I'd have 3 cavities. And looking back on it, was definitely the fruit consumption. So, and I mean, I've seen some YouTube videos that would horrify you of raw vegans in Thailand, and oh my god, these people's teeth are rotting out of their head. So that's something to be mindful if you struggle with getting cavities and stuff. Just limit the fruit consumption, especially here in North America. And so after that first stint in Thailand, I came back. I was feeling pretty good, was in good shape, cardiovascular, skin cleared up. I put alcohol away for a year and a half, completely. So skin was awesome. But I felt my body was getting... It could have been, everyone in their first year of jiu-jitsu gets really beat up because you just don't know how to fall properly, and you don't know the techniques, and you have to really drop your ego and tap all the time. And anyways, everyone's always hurt their first year jiu-jitsu, but I definitely think it was the lack of protein I was getting that contributed to that a bit, because I wasn't really eating any beef there, just chicken here and there, but just tons of fruits and vegetables. And I had crazy energy, but I was always hungry, which was annoying. And I was hurt all the time. So I came home, and that's when kind of the keto thing, the keto hype hit hard. And my leg was still pretty bad. And I was really into jiu-jitsu, and I got really into rock climbing to improve my jiu-jitsu. And I went keto for about 1 year. I'm talking like coffee with MCT oil, so really high fats. Do a jiu-jitsu or a rock climbing workout in the morning, some strength training. And it was steak, a big chunk of melted cheese on the steak, or maybe like blue cheese, and a high-fat Caesar salad, and very low carb. And I got jacked. Like, I mean, the most jacked I've ever been, but reflexes like out the window. It's just an absolute gorilla. But I was doing lots of strength training and lots of pulls and rock climbing. You know, it's just all upper body. And by the way, if you want to get the most jacked you've ever been in your life, get a rock climbing membership. It's unbelievable how fast, how strong I got compared to just traditional weightlifting. I'm talking 3 months. 3 months, I think I went down to Florida for their training camp, and I did like 24 full out, like the widest grip you can on a pull-up bar, full extension chin-ups, like animal. But like I said, fast twitch muscles out the window. And it was pretty tough, and it took a while to get those back. But keto, I definitely recommend if you've ever had some concussion issues before. Also, I think any sort of refined carbohydrates and rices and grains gives you that quick sugar boost, but you just produce way too much insulin. And everyone knows how like healthy omegas and all the saturated fats are for brain health. Like, that's been proven. So if you ever get a pretty good knock in a hockey game or a car accident or life, I really recommend doing the ketogenic thing for at least 90 days and seeing how it's helped you, how it can help you. But in the long run, I mean, it's an expensive diet for sure, but for a short amount of time, I really recommend it. Okay, so after the whole keto thing, I actually, I wasn't really liking how big I was. I felt like I really lost a lot of my fast twitch reflexes and lost pretty much all my boxing. And I started to kind of go back to like more of a paleo style. Lots of lean meats, lean chicken breast, salads, a bit of a Mediterranean diet as far as like the greens and vegetables went. I kept the fats in there for just cognitive health, like olive oils. And if there is a country's diet I really recommend, or I guess a part of the world's diet, I would do some research on the Mediterranean diet. Like I said, though, just make sure you're really buying organic fruits and vegetables, and not just following it, but buying bullshit, fake, chemically produced produce. But yeah, there's lots of fish, lots of seafood in it. And honestly, I haven't talked about it yet, and this is a big part of any sort of diet program. Like, let's be serious. Like, it's got to taste unreal, right? Or you're not going to do it for a sustained and long enough time. And the Mediterranean diet is delicious, absolutely delicious. So I definitely recommend it. So I leaned up, liked it, went back to Thailand, tried my best to avoid sugar and any sort of, I guess, liquid sugar, like drinking my calories. Slip up here and there with like a sweet coffee or something like that. But we all know how terrible sugar is for you. I just seen a thing on YouTube that it was like a doctor explaining that sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. Like, my jaw just dropped. I was just like, oh my God. And also there was like, it said the average American, it's like 122 pounds of sugar per year. And the average American child even more. And that just blows my mind. It's 8 times more addicting than cocaine. Has all these negative health effects, and we're consuming that much of it per year. It's like, oh my God, no wonder everyone's on antidepressants and Adderall and all this crazy behavioral induced medications. So I really, really, really recommend cutting sugar out of your diet. And for me, personally, the best way to do that was just to start fasting. As much as you can, you don't have to go crazy with it. You don't have to say, okay, I'm going to get into intermittent fasting and then just do like a week George St. Pierre water fast. Just start with 8 hours. And another thing too, you guys, like when you go to sleep, you are fasting, right? So the very first thing you should do in your morning for your breakfast, your break fast, you shouldn't just spike your insulin with cereals and full sugar milk. Look at the back of a milk carton and look how much sugar they actually put in it. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. It's like 11 grams per cup. So they make it so addicting. So cereals and breads and stuff is terrible for you in the morning. Whole eggs, a ton of protein, and keep that fast going. It's technically not a fast anymore, but keep the insulin levels down. And be very mindful with drinking, your calories, and you're drinking sugar in the morning also. And this has really worked for me in about the past 5 years. And I highly recommend high protein for your first meal. Then after some exercise and your muscles need that glycogen to kind of refuel and recover, that's when you can have a bit of carbs to refuel and make sure your muscles are ready to go the next day. So that's why I love those mid-afternoon vermicelli bowls with just a ton of beef, ton of shrimp, ton of chicken. Mid-afternoon. Tell me what you guys think. what's worked best for you. I definitely feel the best leaning towards the carnivore and very high protein, low carb eating habits mixed in with intermittent fasting. I know it can add up, but that's when the fasting kicks in, right? So all these other ways of eating I had in my life, I think looking back now and to how I feel as of today, it was the most annoying part was just always being hungry, right? Like just always thinking about food, the next meal and preparing it. And when I kind of went like vegetarian, vegan in Thailand, yeah, I kind of leaned up and I had like crazy energy levels for the training, but I was getting hurt all the time. And I was just always, always, always hungry. Like never satiated at all. Never, I couldn't, no matter what I was doing, I was thinking about food. And quite frankly, like it was so annoying. Like, I mean, like I couldn't even sleep. Like I was snacking on healthy foods, but like in the night, throughout the night, it was weird. I think it's because, I mean, I'm a pretty big guy, so I understand why women can get away with the vegetarian and vegan lifestyle a lot easier. Just because they don't need that amount of calories. So it's good. It's good for them, but for me, wow, like it was like frustrating how much I was thinking about food. Like it just never ended, 24/7. I'd go to have a meal, chill out with friends, eat, and then just want to eat 5 minutes, 10 minutes again after. It was kind of a nightmare. So my favorite thing about how I eat now, this carnivore style, and I'm going to give you a name here, drop a name. Dr. Sean Baker, he was on the Joe Rogan Experience. He's been well, for one, he's a doctor, but he's been on carnivore for like 15 years. The guy fasts and eats only fatty cuts of beef and meat, and I think salmon here and there. And I've been doing this, not so much lately just because I've been traveling around, but pretty much since I went to the Ukraine, because I was delightfully surprised in the Ukraine of how much meat they consumed. And they call it shashlik, which is like a kind of like a Turkish kebab or like souvlaki style barbecue. And it really got me onto the eating most of my calories with like really good high fat proteins. And one, it's delicious, and two, you only really need to eat like 1 to 1.5 meals per day, and then you can get on with your life. I get it. Trust me, I get it. Animals are great. I love animals, okay? But personally, look at me. I mean, without hockey, without a full-out training camp in Thailand or something, I'm walking around at 215, 220, and that's like training all the time. I can maybe get to 195 in a full out at the end of a training camp, right? So I need the calories. And honestly, I haven't got random injuries or random... I had some freak injuries that shouldn't have happened. And those are hard to predict, right? But as far as just twists and pulls and joint pain and stupid stuff like that, since I've went full carnivore again, like absolutely none of that. And I forgot to mention this, but like cognitively, thinking way more clear, less depressed, sleeping better. And when I really take it seriously, that's probably the number one thing I enjoy, is that when I wake up, if I'm very low carb and doing the fasting and high fat, high protein intake, when I wake up, I'm just up like that, you know? There's no 3 hours of grogginess. I need one coffee, and I'm talking I can go right into some sort of training or some deep reading, like nothing. And I really, really enjoy that, because for years I always just thought, oh, maybe I'm not a morning person. Like, I'm just not a morning person, you know? And I still don't think I am. Like, I do get a lot of energy at night, and I love exercising at night and stuff. And that's definitely from the hockey schedule all those years. Playing hockey games, you know, puck drops at 7:30, and you're competing as hard as you can till 10:15, and then you're refueling. So I've always kind of been nocturnal, but since the hockey's slowed down, when I do this carnivore-based diet, I'm like, I can just get up in the morning, no problem. And I really, really recommend you try it, because that's been huge. Negative things about carnivore for me? Honestly, not much. You know, it adds up. But anything worth its weight is going to get a little pricey. I really like that you can have fatty fish with it also. I'm a big seafood guy. But I think the biggest thing is just the always being satiated, and just having to worry about eating once a day, one and a half, maybe 2 times a day, depending on your energy output. That's been the best part. But yeah, the waking up, like just like nothing in the morning, and not having to go like crazy on the caffeine, that's something I think you'll really enjoy from the carnivore diet and the carnivore lifestyle. I don't do well, hardly any, but definitely not nearly the amount of weightlifting and strength and conditioning that I did in my mid-teens and early 20s. And I feel a lot better that I don't. Yeah, you don't have that like kind of like beach bro look, but I'm a fighter, and I want my hands sharp. I want my speed, hand-eye, reaction time fast, footwork. I want to be fast for my size, and I am. So I do enough of that now to when I want to just, it's more just for, I guess, confidence and it does help. It does help with your athletic performance, but too much is too much. And go to Vancouver, Kelowna, and see these juice turkeys who all think they're tough. Like, they're not tough. It's just the steroids. It's just the ego. It's the alcohol. Where these guys who are all juiced up, juice dummies, that's what they think they're, that fake confidence and that toughness comes from. But toughness is being able to fight all day, every day, for months and years and decades on end without ever slowing down. And I just truly believe that it really gets to a point where muscle does not make you a better athlete. It makes you a worse one. I'm lucky, I developed a pretty wide frame from my goaltending career and all the work in the weight room I did in my teens, but I hate being slow now. I hate it. That's why I do all the footwork drills and the yoga. That could be a whole nother topic about the benefits of yoga. We can talk about it in another video. But I would way rather go to a hot yoga class and a martial arts class than just smashing the weight room. And don't get me wrong, it's important to do, but that's why I really like the knees over toes guys stuff, because it's to build pure athleticism. It's just not for it's not for show. It's not for aesthetics and not to flex at the Cactus Club. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit? Can you fight? No. Okay, beat it. Yeah, so I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I kind of just winged it there because, diet is something you just have to kind of like experiment with and wing it until you find out what's best for you, because I'm really not one of these guys that will I'm convinced that one way works the best for everyone, especially with diet. And yeah, just be curious, experiment, obviously keep food allergies and preferences in mind, but look good, feel good, perform good. You are what you eat. All right, you guys, thanks a lot. Hope that was all right. Peace.